Hi, I'm Audrey, and I'm at Trails Incredible Farmers Market, and I'm here today to shop for some traditional Russian borscht. Hi, I'm at Earthy Organics with John, and we're here today to complete the ingredients for the summer borscht. We've got some beautiful fresh tomatoes that we're going to buy and cook down. And then I'm going to need a couple green peppers, John, as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you very much. I'm here at Creative Cupcakes to get a loaf of white bread. The Russian borscht is traditionally served with thick slices of homemade bread. And so thank you, Kay, for...
We have Joe's Italian white bread.
Oh, even better.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Oh, hi. So I'm at Digger's from Grand Forks and getting products for the traditional Russian borscht. So we're here to pick up some carrots and some beets.
Okay. Can I pop these into your bag?
Yes, please.
One bunch of beets and 2 bunches of carrots?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm at Leanna's Little Market from Grand Forks, and I'm here to pick up some cabbage and some onions today. I'm getting the last couple ingredients for the borscht. We've got a fresh cabbage and 2 onions. I'm at Wendell Craft Distilleries, and I'm here to pick up a little bottle of vodka because what's making authentic Russian borscht unless you have a little shot of vodka to help you just to get the taste right. So thank you.
This spicy peach vodka, it's a peach base and it's actually made from the schnapps that we make. It has what the owner will call is a secret blend of spices in there, but I can tell you there's some cinnamon and star anise, and I won't go any deeper into it, but it's a delicious vodka and I think it'll pair very well with the borscht.
So we picked up everything we need at the market today, and we're just going to go home and start the borscht. Welcome to my kitchen, everyone. We're back from the farmer's market, and we're going to start making traditional Russian borscht. The main ingredients in borscht are potatoes, which I'm lucky enough to have from Grand Forks. They're Betkov potatoes. The potatoes are mashed, some are sliced, and on a diagonal, and that's to put more energy into it. I was taught to make traditional Russian borscht by Betty McCordoff, who is 2nd generation Doukhobor to Grand Forks, and I spoke to her yesterday to make sure that the recipe was perfect, and she has now given the recipe to her grandson Zach, who is in his early 20s. And she says he's made it even better. So the traditional Russian borscht changed from when her mother made it, and now it's changed to her grandson making it. So I'm here to share it with you today. So to start the process, I pre-peeled some potatoes, and we've quartered them and filled the pot. So when I was taught by Betty, it was about the pot size, and you always filled the pot less than half full of water. So this is a 2-gallon pot. I have 3 quarts of water in it, so I'm about a quart short of half. The potatoes are quartered, and they're put into the pot. And we don't want them to go more than half full. And I have the exact measurements also. So I see we've got a little bit of dill floating around. That's fine. We're going to put the potatoes on. 2 heaping tablespoons of salt. It seems like we use a lot of salt in borscht. It's a myth. And we use sea salt, so it's a good salt for you. So I'm going to let the potatoes boil, and then we're going to mash them after. The other thing in the Russian borscht is a beet. So you take the beet and you peel it, which I've done. We did get these beautiful beets from Digger's, by the way, in Grand Forks. So I've taken the beet, I've peeled it, and then I've sliced it all the way through this way and that way, cut it on the diagonal so it looks like a rose, and that goes into the pot too. The beet is for coloring and just a little bit of taste, because I have made borscht without the beet and it's not the same. You can taste it. So we're going to let the potatoes cook, and we're going to move to sauteing the onions. So for 7 quarts of borscht, we use a half a pound of butter, and part of that, half of that, or a quarter pound, is going into the fry pan to saute the onions. So we're going to melt that slowly. We got these wonderful fresh onions from Leanne's Market in Grand Forks. So I've diced them ahead. I'm melting the butter, and we're going to just saute them gently. Part of making Betty's beautiful traditional borscht is we don't want to overcook anything. So we've used 2 medium onions, and we're just going to put them on low, and we're going to let them simmer and smell the house. My spoon, which is a new find, I bought at the Roslyn Winter Market last year. We have a beautiful spoon maker in our midst, so hopefully he's back at the Winter Market this year and can get another. So we've got the onions simmering. We don't want to overcook them. We're not caramelizing them, but because we're so lucky to make summer borscht and the onions are fresh, they stay a little bit harder, but we want them nice and soft. So we've probably got about 5 more minutes and the onions will be ready. The potatoes and the beet is a beautiful pink color. It's slowly simmering. The potatoes are almost done, and as soon as they're finished, we'll take them out and mash them. We've got some BC butter, some Kootenai whipping cream to go into the mashed potatoes, and that gives the creaminess. Okay, so we're back at the potatoes. They have cooked, and now we're going to take them out and we're going to mash them with our own Kootenai Meadows from Creston whipping cream and the 1/4 cup of butter. We're also going to take the beet out at the very end. The beet doesn't go in, it just makes the broth a beautiful pink color. We've got the beet out of the pot. Now the beet doesn't go back into the pot. It gives a mild flavor, a little bit of a bite. It'll go in the compost. And then we're going to add roughly a big cup of celery to the pot and an overflowing cup of carrots, and they're chopped fine. And they're going to go into the pot. And then we're going to put some potatoes in the pot. Now the potatoes were cut into chunks, and they're cut on an angle, and the chunks are about 1/2 inch big. The idea of cutting them on an angle is for the energy that puts into the pot. One of the things I didn't say that Betty taught me was the most important thing about making borscht is the intention. And so the intention of making borscht is always to feed the people so that it will nourish them from the time they get up in the morning until the time they come in from the fields. So, and food always brings a really nice energy as well. So part of the tradition was having this borscht and keeping people strong and well for the day. So with good intention, we make this. These beautiful Abetkoff farm potatoes are cut into like French fry pieces. And then we're going to line them up, and then we're going to angle them like that. And that's the angle. This piece of advice came from Betty's grandson, Zach, who got the information of angling the potatoes from J.J. Verrigan, the leader of the Duke of Borscht in Grand Forks. So thank you, Zach and J.J. Okay, so we're ready to mash the potatoes. We've got our 1/4 cup of butter going in, and a 1.25 cups of whipping cream. So we're going to let this beautiful whipping cream and butter melt, and we're going to mash the potatoes into this mixture. So it's really like a tomato soup base, potato, lots of beautiful onions, and then we'll add the cabbage at the end. Borscht is more about the process than the ingredients, and it changes every year. Every time you make it, it tastes a little bit different. So that could be because the cabbage is tighter, it's newer, it's wintered, the carrots are different, everything is different. So while the vegetables are finishing in the pot over there, we're going to prepare the cabbage. So for 7 quarts of borscht, we're going to need about a medium-sized cabbage. We're going to cut it in half. The thing about the cabbage is that we have the big core, which we don't want, and we don't want the thick leaves on it too. So the cabbage is cut on the grain. Here, I'll move this out of the way. Across the grain, and it's cut very, very fine, very fine. I am like Betty. We've never found a grater. The food processor just doesn't do the same work that hand chopping does. So the pieces are about 1.5 to 2 inches and cut super, super fine across grain. And then once all the cabbage is cut, about a medium head, and I've pre-cut the rest of it for us to show, then we're going to put it in the pot right near the end. Meanwhile, we've gotten some beautiful tomatoes from Earthy Organics, and I have skinned them and cored them and put them into the blender and turned it on. So in the traditional way, the tomatoes would have been cooked down, and a real traditional borscht doesn't have chunks of tomatoes in it. That's how you tell. That's how the Russian people could tell when I was making it. If it had little chunks of tomatoes in it, they would say, no, that's an English woman borscht. So the idea is that it's completely with the blender, it works great. So that will go in right at the end when the potatoes go in and the cabbage and the tomato. Okay, so we've got the mashed potatoes put into the stock with the vegetables, and now we're putting in, it's about 1.5 quarts of tomatoes that have been in the blender, and we're stirring that up nicely. Then we're going to put the onions in that have been sauteed. Get all those beautiful onions in. And we're going to put that back on to heat up. It's almost to a boil, so now we're going to put in the medium-sized cabbage that's been shredded. The important thing about the cabbage is you don't want to overcook it. So the cabbage will be al dente. So we're going to bring it back to a boil, and then we will finish it off with our dill that we got from Ferrero Foods, our beautiful green peppers from Earthy Organics, and then we'll taste. So the borscht has just come up to a boil, a simmer, and now we're going to add a grated carrot, and again, that is from Betty's grandson Zach. That will give it a beautiful color. We're going to add some diced green pepper from Earthy Organics, and we're going to put in a cup of freshly chopped dill. Then we're going to stir it all up. And again, we don't want to overcook anything. And as that grated carrot cooks, it gives that beautiful rosy color. And we'll just let it heat up for 1 minute to blend the flavors. I think maybe it needs a little bit more salt. So I'm going to put another 2 heaping teaspoons of salt in. We'll stir it one more time. And again, it's getting that beautiful, beautiful orangey rosy color. Okay, our borscht is ready. It's beautiful. It's a great color. And now what I'm going to do is I process mine in jars. So my jars have been heated up very, very, very hot. The borscht is going to get poured into the jars, very hot. I use pint jars, makes a large bowl. And I fill them just about to the head space. I'll wipe the edges of the jar. And then we'll put the hot lid on. And the very hot screw top. And we'll turn it around and just hand tighten it. And then turn it upside down. And I let it cool that way. And I'll continue filling the rest of the jars. Once it's cooled, you can turn it over and the seal will pop. And then it keeps in the fridge for up to a month. So the borscht is ready, and the traditional way to serve Russian borscht is with thick slices of homemade bread, white bread, and we have creative cupcakes to thank for the beautiful white bread that we have today. So traditionally, we have the bread, we butter it, and then to eat it, you dip it in the borscht. I want to thank Betty and her grandson Zach for updating me on the recipe, and I've put a different tradition into when I make the borscht. We're lucky enough to have this beautiful vodka from Wendell's Craft Distilleries just outside of Creston. So when I'm making the traditional borscht, what I like to do, especially with my company, is to have some vodka. So salute. Okay, well, thank you again for being with me in my kitchen and at the market and making my favorite summer traditional Russian borscht.